Stephen A., what do you think of CeeDee Lamb's opinion?
That was not the smartest thing for him to do. CeeDee Lamb is a stud. The brother can ball. He got his bag. But the Cowboys didn't win. And he's getting paid. So obviously his pay in a hard cap world compromises the pay of others. For him to sit up there and look at the fan base who supports them no matter what, the most disgusting, delusional fan base in American history is the Dallas Cowboy fan base. For him to sit up there, they find a reason to think that the Dallas Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders when they 3-13 or something. And this brother said that. I just love that video. It just tickles me to see all those tears we crying. I just can't help it, y'all. I just love it. I just love to see. I mean, Cowboy fans being miserable is just a beautiful thing to see. But I will tell you, I was really surprised that he would be that idiotic to say something like that. I'm not calling him an idiot. I would never do that. But that was an idiotic thing to do because the fans, you just gave your own fans an excuse to come at you. And life in Dallas is hard enough. I don't think you say that to them.
I'm right with you. I was in Cleveland. We were 0-16. If they put a microphone in front of my face while I was on the team and they would ask about our fans, I would have said they were the best fans in the NFL. You do not go against your own fan base. All of those guys in the stands with those 88 jerseys on. CD, you know better than that. Just go ahead and lie. It is
He's
always
not wrong,
your
though,
fans.
guys. He's not wrong.
He's absolutely
You shouldn't
when
say
in
that.
doubt. When in doubt. Yeah.
Every truth ain't meant to be told.
Talk about it.
Listen,
Every truth ain't meant to be told.
Especially to be said on Valentine's Day. Well said, Steve.
How about that? How about that? He will get no love in Dallas today.
All right. Aaron Rodgers' time in New York is officially over. We learned yesterday that the Jets told Rodgers they are planning to go in a different direction at quarterback. Now we can only speculate about what the future holds for the all-time great signal caller and whether he'll be joining a new franchise. Meanwhile, Travis Kelce is also unsure about what comes next in his career. Coming off a disappointing Super Bowl performance, the Chiefs tight end said he'll take some time before deciding if he'll come back for a 13th season. Let's bring it back to the desk. J-Mac, of those two options, Rodgers and Kelce, which has more left in the tank?
I'm going with Travis Kelce on this one. You look at his season this past year where he had 133 targets. He led the team in that, 35 more than Xavier Worthy, the next guy. On top of that, he was 5th in receiving yards in the NFL when you look at the tight end position. So Travis Kelce still has a ton left in the tank. The question mark to me is how much do they kind of alleviate and take off of him to allow him to still be special and be great in those moments later on in the season. You think about the year he had. This is mixed with the fact that Isaiah Pacheco was injured out of the lineup. That put more on Travis Kelce. Rashee Rice goes down with an injury. That put more on him. Hollywood Brown wasn't available to start the season. So more was asked of Travis Kelce to do more for Patrick Mahomes. And I think that kind of weighed on him as you look at that Super Bowl performance. But in the divisional round, he was outstanding against the Houston Texans. And then when you talk about more in the tank, it's about what you have around you as well. For Travis Kelce, his quarterback is still going to be there, and Patrick Mahomes, his head coach and Andy Reid is still going to be there. So he still has an opportunity to perform at an extremely high level. I think the question mark also comes for him personally. I remember hearing Kobe Bryant say when it came to his basketball career, he wasn't going to stay in the game and average 17 points per game. And I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, 17 is pretty good. But for Kobe at his level, for Travis Kelce, does he want to continue to play knowing that, hey, I'm not going to be the best tight end in the NFL and my talent's going to be a little bit more diminished?
Go ahead, Kimberly.
I appreciate that.
Happy Valentine's Day from Stephen A.
Appreciate it. No, I agree with Jason. I agree with Jason 100%. And it's very clear why. More is asked of a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers will be more exposed. We talked earlier, where could Aaron Rodgers go? Like, does he make sense for the Steelers? A team that clearly needs a quarterback. And we're wondering, is he going to give him exactly what he gave the Jets, which is next to nothing? He's a future Hall of Famer. We're talking about his mobility. We're talking about, he improved as the season went on, and yet still, that was not a good season by Aaron Rodgers. And when you try to forecast what team would make sense for Aaron, you're looking around and saying, it's really hard. Like, if I look at it strictly football, forget that he's a future Hall of Famer. If I just look and I'm a GM, I'm thinking, how can this man clearly help my franchise win a Super Bowl, that's, I don't know a lot of GMs that are going to say that. Whereas Travis Kelce, catch a couple passes, catch some touchdowns. Like, we got Patrick Mahomes. Like, it really is, when you look at Kelce, it really is a matter of, does he want it? Does he still want to play? I think that the Chiefs would gladly have Travis Kelce back. The Jets, the Packers, all these teams are kind of like, I'm not sure if Aaron is the answer.
I'm going to go with the Rodgers on this one. And this is the biggest reason why. Travis Kelce doesn't know if he wants to play anymore. That's a big reason. That's a big reason. Seriously. If you look at him, you know, he caught divisional playoff game against the Houston Texans. Obviously had about 117 receiving yards. He had 900 yards in the regular season last year. He had over 800 yards this year. And then in the playoffs, en route to a Super Bowl championship, he had about 32 receptions for nearly 350 yards. This go-round, he had 117 yards against the Texans, and then the AFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl, he had no touchdowns, had about 58 total yards receiving, and was pretty much a non-factor. And even before that, he was questioning whether or not he'd lost a step. Could he still do what he used to do? He can't shake defenders the way that he once could. I'm not saying he should retire. A matter of fact, the way they got beat down in the Super Bowl, if I were him, I wouldn't want to go out like that. Just like if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't want my career to end, the lasting memory be the season that he just had with the New York Jets. But I just think that when you look at Travis Kelce right now, and the questions, I mean, I spoke to him a few weeks ago. It's rare that you don't see Travis Kelce like that. You don't see him challenged in terms of being enthused about playing and looking forward to playing and what have you. And he was never the fastest guy to begin with. He was just always open. Somehow, somewhere, you just found yourself looking at him. How the hell is this dude always open? But he was until recently. And even he has questions about that right now. And that's the reason I feel the way. I get y'all point about Travis. I understand. But my personal feeling is, if I'm sitting there and I'm looking forward to next season and who I think I can rely upon that wants to be there, it's Aaron Rodgers.
See, I agree, but for a different reason. I'm going to quote Marvin Hagler on this one. It's tough to get out of bed at 5 a.m. and do the road work when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. And we have seen Travis Kelce enjoying all the fruits of his life. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. This isn't a criticism of how you're living your life. But when you've got it that good, and you've achieved literally